everybody, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Power Women in Insurance podcast. My name is Teresa Kitchens, your host, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about, do you need to consider getting a business coach? We are in a crazy market right now with the insurance space across the board for every single type of insurance. But one thing that I think is really important for people, no matter what stage of their career they're in or what phase of their career they're in, is a business coach. Let's talk today about why and if you may need one. So let's get started.
Welcome to the Power Women in Insurance Show with your host, Teresa Kitchens. Join us as we laugh, talk about hard issues, support each other, and make our industry and our world a better place. Let's go.
All right. So, have you ever really honestly thought, do you need a business coach? Well, I'm going to be very transparent in the sense that I've had multiple business coaches. Some of them have been amazing. Some of them have been inspirational. Some of them have been a waste of time. So I wanted to be able to kind of review with you some things that I have found that really have helped me to make sure that if I hire a business coach, I get what I need from them. So people who don't need a business coach, right? Let's start with that. People who do not need a business coach are people that have everything under control. Their business is running like a well-oiled machine. Their people are selling. They've got a great culture. They're accomplishing all their goals, knocking it out of the ballpark. And honestly, I don't find a whole lot of people that fall into this category, right? And people who do usually had a business coach or a team or some sort of a mastermind group or something that helped them get where they wanted to go. None of us are islands. Sometimes I think people identify the concept of getting a business coach with admitting that they want to quit or that they just want out. And that may be the case for some people. But I think for a lot of people, it could be just that you want more out of your business than what you are getting right now. And it might be just maybe a better balanced business, okay? And it might be a business that gets to a certain point. I don't know, right? It could be a lot of different things. But what we need to make sure that we really focus on is finding the right business coach if you choose to have one. Very few people, or AKA none, that I know of in the insurance industry are exactly where they want to be in their career. Whether or not you're in sales, if you're an account manager, if you are in ownership, if you work with a corporation, right? Like one of the major carriers or even a major agency, you can have a coach. Now, the term business coach, I think, is very ambiguous because a business coach is not always about business. You can get a sales coach. That's a business coach too, right? You can have a coach that works on systems, operations. You can have an automation coach. Very few coaches can do all of it. In fact, I don't know of any that can. Okay. So the first step to being able to decide if you need a business coach is to identify some of those areas that you need to grow in, right? It doesn't mean things are wrong. It might just mean maybe you need something different. Maybe you need some inspiration. Maybe you need just some extra energy in a certain area, right? Maybe you want somebody who can get you to a certain level, maybe financially or something like that. But think about what type of coach you want, what type of coach you need. Then what you can do, and what I would do is write down 20 areas that you think your business or your profession, your career can improve in. Okay. And that might be, like I said, systems, operations, financially, and it might be where you personally can also improve, right? Maybe if we talk about a business coach, we don't need to even say a business coach. Maybe what you're looking for is a personal development coach, right? Somebody who can help you to get more out of what you're doing with what you have. I don't know what that looks like for you. To me, a business coach is a personal development coach just for your business, right? A sales coach is a business coach for your sales, right? There's lots of different coaches out there. And let's make sure that we kind of normalize the conversation of being able to utilize a business coach or a coach in any way. So first of all, write down 20 things that you would change about your business, your profession, what you do, and how you are really where you want to go. Okay. No one can help you unless you know what to ask for. Okay. Very important is to know what you're looking for. Then go through that list of 20 things. Honestly, I would probably honestly go more than that, but we're going to start with 20, right? So start with 20 items that you want to be able to improve with whatever you're doing, right? If it's your, like I said, your career, your business, whatever, personal, whatever it is, mindset, culture. Then from there, then I want you to bundle up some of those things, because some of those things are going to be kind of under the same arena, the same department, right? Like, oh, these are my financial goals. Oh, these are operations. Oh, these are maybe hiring. Maybe there is different, a different coach for you being able to make sure that your EBITDA is in a good place, whatever it might be based on your goals. Okay. So once you take a look at those 20, narrow them down and then start with the one that seems to be able to come up most often. If it's that you need to get your finances in place, then let's talk about that kind of a coach. If it's that you need to get operations in place, think about that. Is that something that would be automation? Is it something that would be maybe just a written documentation of what you guys are currently doing? Maybe it's just getting everybody on the same page that everybody's doing the same thing, right? So that would be maybe a systems and operations coach. Now, it might be hiring the right people. That's a different kind of coach. You're not going to find, and I'm saying this, I know repetitively, but you're not going to find one coach is going to answer all your questions. You're just not. So therefore, look at what you need most prevalently based on that list and then start there. Okay. There's going to be some coaches that maybe you can get 2 or 3 things out of, but I'm going to say that I don't think that that's going to be the true long-term solution on whether or not to utilize different coaches. And I think too, we also need to think through the fact that one coach may not be your forever coach. They may get you through maybe that structuring, the creating of your values, your vision, mission, and your purpose, right? Get you centered on who you are as a business. That is a extremely valuable point that the great coach can get you through. There are tons of coaches out there that have programs that actually walk you through creating your vision, your mission, your purpose, right? And how to be able to get your team on board with that. That's probably, I'm going to say, the core and the foundation. If you don't have those, start there. Then maybe you want to go into a operations coach, right? So now that we have our vision, mission, and purpose, then we want to go working with someone who can help us with operations. These are going to be a little bit more of your technical coaches. They might help you to be able to document, write, think through your operations. They might help you to be able to get through and ask the right questions to your team about what works, what doesn't work. How can we do what we do better, right? All of those are incredibly valuable conversations. And by having the coach that can work you through some of the wording, maybe some of the documentation, maybe even some of the thinking through how to level your operations up, those are going to be great coaches. Okay. And that might be a longer term coach than a vision, mission, purpose type coach, right? So that kind of coach, but make sure the key here is that there's a lot of coaches that can walk you through your vision, mission, and purpose, help you to get your head on straight for your culture. What type of a business do you want to create? But when it comes down to your systems and operations, they may not be industry specific for you. And if they're not industry specific, they may have a harder time helping you with those specific tasks. So remember, they don't have to be the same people. Financially, though, it's going to be really hard to have 2 or 3 different coaches going at once. I got to say that. So take that into consideration that we may need to move through different coaches. Okay. Once you get your operations, maybe some of that done, maybe then you want to go through and you want to make sure the business is in a really, really healthy place. Okay. That's going to be, again, your culture, but then it's also maybe your finances. Maybe it is what other systems and operations do you need to bring in? Maybe you need to take your automation and level it up another level. This might be a little bit of a better avenue for, I'm going to say, a mastermind, other people that are actually doing what you want to do, who are willing to share their systems, their structure, their wording for things. Maybe they want to be able to share with you that it took them a while to nail down exactly how that operation occurred inside their agency. So that way you just don't feel so alone, right? I think a coach is great, but I also think the camaraderie in the industry and an open sharing environment is almost more valuable, if not as valuable, as a really great business coach. I have also been working with more of recently. I actually switched to a hiring coach. I have a coach right now that is working on me being a better leader, me being able to delegate, bringing in the right people, putting the right butts in the right seats, and being able to do the personality assessments and the work style assessments. We're calling it neurofeedback assessments, right? They have culture assessments. What does the team feel like they're getting from the business? What is a team like? What is a team not like? How can I help them to love their job more while I get what I need out of it? Because what I did was I did a neurofeedback evaluation as well. And my coach said, this is who you are. This is your work style. And this is why and how you feel trapped. And that's a very true word. So with that, we're actually working with me as a leader to be able to be a better leader, to be able to level up, to be able to delegate more, to empower my team to ask better questions, for me to ask better questions to my team, and for us to have regular feedback points. So that way we can work together as a team. Now, if I didn't have my vision, mission, purpose in place, and if I didn't have some basic operations in place, then that would not be a good conversation. Because of course, I feel like if my business is in complete chaos, there's no way that my team's going to give us good culture feedback. And there's no way I can delegate. There's no way I can do these things. So to me, this is almost like a ladder where you start off with vision, mission, purpose, and you get your focus right, right? And then you go from basic operations. How are things working? What are you doing? What works? What doesn't work? And then you get into a little bit more of your culture and a little bit more of your leveling up of your agency. To me, that's going to be more of a success coach, right? It might be more of a hiring coach, maybe getting rid of some people that maybe you made challenging hiring decisions with in the past. And now you need to hire the right people for the right position. Maybe it's even just doing these assessments where then you just move people around. Maybe you have someone in a leadership position who doesn't want to be in leadership. Sometimes people want to be in leadership because they think it's going to make a little extra money. But then when it comes down to being able to hold the rest of the team accountable for the objectives that they're supposed to be able to achieve, they don't want to be able to do that, or they don't know how. So sometimes those coaches that are your leadership coaches, that are your culture coaches, sometimes those people can work with your team on how to help them level up. So it's not maybe just about you leveling up. It's also about the team leveling up our communication, leveling up what we want, who we are out of all these conversations, and being able to take these and allowing them to have these discussions, right? Taking these points and allowing them to bloom. And here's why I like this leadership coach. Sometimes this leadership coach can have those conversations with your team members or put together surveys that are anonymous that your team members feel more capable of discussing what they like and don't like and what works and what doesn't work. And then they can say that to that other person rather than to you, or to a survey rather than to you, right? If you are in sales, that might be a sales coach, right? And a sales coach may help you to be able to step up and to be able to ask better questions in your process. I'm kind of taking this a little bit more from a business owner's perspective, but we'll talk a little bit more about that sales coach piece. But a leadership coach, no matter what your position is very important, because if you are going to try to level up your sales, if you're going to level up as an account manager, if you're going to level up as a agency manager, if you're going to level up in a different area, that leadership coach is very important, because you need to know how you work, what will make you happy, and how do you delegate, how do you communicate, because then whenever that person also takes a look at the team and maybe the other people around you, then they can say, okay, you like me, I'm very task driven. I want to see that my tasks go down at the end of the day, but I am not a slow to process kind of person. I get in there and I get them done. Now, I'm not as detail oriented. Somebody else who's more detail oriented may take their time, be more of a backup person to double check everything before it goes out. It might be somebody to do that. Maybe we just need to move some people around in our circle of influence to make sure we get the most out of every single team member. Okay. So that's another type of coach, is what I'm going to call your leadership coach. Okay. And then there's another level that maybe if you want to be able to give everybody bonuses and raises, maybe you want to make sure that you're optimizing your carriers. Maybe you want to make sure your EBITDA is at a good place, because you want to make sure you can maybe either get a line of credit to be able to run your business, or maybe you want to make sure that you are in a good place to qualify for a loan or to be able to sell your business, right? If you are a salesperson, very important conversation, because if you have any type of equity in your book, you're going to want to make sure that you're maximizing the equity in your book. Okay. So that way, if you ever choose to take your book, maybe open up your own agency, if you ever want to get the money back out of your equity in your book, making sure that you build that book the best way possible is super important. Okay. So again, we're going to start off with vision, mission, purpose. We're going to start off with basic operations and structure. Then we're going to talk about leadership. And then I always suggest a financial coach. I'm going to say that if people are in account management, sales, if people are in corporations, think about your life the same way. It's just from maybe a personal development coach type situation, right? What is your personal vision, mission, purpose? Who are you? What are your values? What makes you feel successful? Different things make different people feel successful. Just like we can go to one insurance agency and their culture is completely different from another agency. Okay, totally different. One may be more sales driven, one may be more culture driven, one may have lots of team events and team opportunities, one may give a lot more education opportunities. But until you know what your vision, mission, purpose is as a human being, how do you know what agency or what business or what corporation you're going to really mesh with? Then I would say, look at the operations of our life. And this is from a personal coach perspective, right? What is it about our operations that's not working? Are we working out? Are we exercising? Are we taking care of ourselves? Are we doing things that provide self-love for ourselves? Okay. Are we doing the things in our personal life that bring us joy? If we're always working, or if our personal life is a mess, that definitely branches off and pollutes the waters of the other areas of our lives. Maybe we come home at the end of the day and we're tired, we're exhausted. Maybe we're emotionally tired, physically tired. Maybe we're not making the money we need to make, right? By being able to identify our vision, mission, purpose, and then operations and how our life operates, we can say, I don't feel strong. I don't feel successful. I am not happy with my life. So then what do I really want, and how can I make it better? Those are those two foundational points. Maybe it's hiring a personal trainer. Maybe it's getting out and having time with friends. Maybe it's volunteering somewhere. Maybe it's getting our house cleaned out, right? It might be something like clutter is just really overwhelming us. I know I've been through that the past few years. Same thing. Let's take the business principles and apply them to our personal lives. Okay. Then maybe you need to look at, how can I be better? Maybe that's a success coach, a personal development coach. Maybe that's that leadership coach, right? And then let's also make sure your finances are in order. Are you going to be able to achieve your goals? Retirement, vacations, buying a house, whatever it might be, providing memories for your family, right? Think through those levels. And that's a business conversation as well as a personal life conversation. No matter what your role is in the insurance industry, it's going to be the same stair-step approach to being able to accomplish more. Okay. Because what we need to do is identify what we want, who we are, and what we want to build from. And then we build out some of those operations, and then we go into leadership. But here's the deal. We might need to go back down to operations, and we might need to go back to that coach, or find maybe a coach that's more deep into our operations, right? maybe not systems. Maybe then we go into automation, or maybe then we go into how to automate our automation, right? Or how to take our automation to the next level. There's all sorts of different coaches out there. Working with one coach, some people can do for a very long time. Some people get what they need from that coach, and then they have to move on to the next coach. But we need to honor the steps that that previous coach gave us, the knowledge, the skills that that previous coach gave us. I have one coach that really showed me the world of marketing, that showed me the power of getting out there, networking, physical mail, all of these things. Love that experience with them. And they gave me so much self-confidence to be able to be who I am today. I have another coach, went back and said, what's your vision, mission, and purpose? Oh, I hadn't even done that when I talked to this other coach. Let's start there. So then we did all that. We did our vision, mission, purpose. And then we came into what are your monthly goals, quarterly goals, annual goals, and how to do goal setting. And we did a great job for about a year and a half, and I loved it. But I felt like I needed to take that skill then, and I needed to level that up to an operations coach in a different way, and a little bit deeper, a little bit more insurance specific, because that was what my business needed. That's what I needed. All right. And then once I kind of got in a happy place with that, I had some hiring trauma, right? If you listen to the podcast, you know I've had some hiring trauma. So therefore, I hired a hiring coach. I really thought that's where that hiring coach was going to end, hiring. But then I looked at the other offerings that this hiring coach has, and I said, oh my goodness, they have so much culture. They have so much coaching for my team and for me. I'm going to stick with this longer. So that's what we're working on right now, is so much with that leadership coach. Now, I also have a fractional CFO coach. Okay. But that is, we started off doing the initial assessment. Okay. And then we're going to go into a little bit more of like a quarterly checkup, right? It's not going to be like the coaching where you get together once a week or even once a month. It's going to be kind of once a quarter where we get together. How are you doing? What are you working on? And how can I hold myself accountable for making those financial goals and those financial big steps? This financial person is also helping me with acquisitions and helping me with lots of other pieces of my business. So that I'm going to have is simultaneous with my leadership coach. But it's not a monthly subscription kind of thing. So take into consideration what your goals are, and then pick people. And then, you know what? Love them for the timeline that they're supposed to be in your life. And then recommend them to other people for when other people are in that phase of their life. Look for a great mastermind. A mastermind can honestly be all these different levels in lots of different ways. A mastermind is really defined as a group of people in your industry who are doing similar things to what you're doing, who can help you to brainstorm, who can help you to work through trauma, who can help you to be able to work through the different challenges and or levels of your agency or of your career that you need to be able to do. Maybe you can do some role playing with them. Maybe you can do some, get some ideas from them about how to, if you're an account manager, how to ask for a raise, how to be able to say, hey, I want to be able to get some more continuing ed. Maybe you want to be able to go for a certification. Being able to level up is easier when you have a team of people around you supporting you, loving you, who know you, and who want to see you succeed. The mastermind conversation is huge. Different masterminds are different. If you don't find one right away that you love, that's perfectly fine. Some want to just do a check-in. Some just want to go, where are you? What are you doing? How are you doing it? Some people want it to be also bring you education. And some people want to be able to have topicals, or they want to be able to have conversations with other professionals outside of the mastermind on how to level up. Some masterminds show your numbers. What are your goals? Where are you at with your goals? Where are your profitability numbers? They kind of merge a lot of that financial conversation in there as well. Some people don't want to be that vulnerable, and that's okay, right? Some want to do role playing. Some want to do other things. Find a group of people who match who you are, who match what you're trying to go for. If you're an account manager and you want to be able to level up, find a great mastermind. Okay. If you are in sales, join a mastermind, maybe not even in the insurance industry. Maybe it's something that you want to make sure you close more business. Maybe you want to join a mastermind of people who are more networkers or whatever, and you want to practice those skills. You want to know how other people are doing it. How did they handle it when they were rejected? How did they handle it when maybe they made a mistake? How did they handle it whenever they needed to go back and ask for the business, right? Or ask for maybe another avenue to be able to get the business done. There's lots of different arenas for this. And I think truly finding the people that connect with you, hear what you're trying to say. And I just mean to say, hear what you're trying to say, because I feel like sometimes I can have a conversation with somebody and we're just like, I don't know what, we're missing the mark. We're not even connecting. And I want to be in a group of people who hear me, who I hear them, and maybe even we hear through the words to the true meaning of the ask. I can sit back and say, I'm miserable. I feel like I'm a failure. But if somebody comes back to me and goes, okay, help me to understand why you feel that way. And when did you specifically feel that way? Well, when I was doing this, okay, so did this make you feel like a failure? Yeah. Okay. So what if we helped you to fix this problem? Would that help you to feel like less of a failure in the future if you know how to deal with this challenge? Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Well, then maybe I can do that. And then all of a sudden we see these little successes come in, and all of a sudden we see that. But it could be just getting with the right people who hear what you're really trying to ask and helping you to level up. So do you need a business coach? Do you? I'm going to tell you, I think everybody needs a coach. Everybody does. Whether or not it's a personal development coach, a business coach, a mindset coach. Sometimes our mindsets just get all sorts of craziness. It could be a personal development coach. Maybe it's that I need to focus on me more. Maybe it's that I need to not just work all the time. I need to find the joy in doing the things that I'm working so hard to be able to do. I can't enjoy it because I can't get away from my job long enough to go enjoy the fruits of my labor. And if that's the case, get a personal coach. But I definitely recommend a coach. I definitely recommend finding the right one and knowing and understanding that the first coach will not be your only coach, and they may not even be the your coach for right now, right? Find somebody you resonate with. But the best way to do that is to document what you want and then group them together and then go to a coach and say, I want you to help me with this. And then I can guarantee you a good coach is going to go, that's great. But let's also talk about these additional things. And you may go, oh, okay, let's do that too. But here's the deal. They don't need to ignore your original requests. Okay. They don't need to go on their own path. I do not like coaches that have this staunch walk you through 1 + 2 + 3 steps. If you're doing a vision, mission, purpose coach, that is a great coach, okay? Because they need to walk you through how to create your vision, mission, purpose. Beyond that, though, a really good coach understands you have your own goals. You have your own agenda. You have your own culture of who you are and what you bring to the table. And a really good coach is going to help you to be a better person through that. Being able to work on their platform, their grouping is great. But if they can't get out of it, I'm going to say, take that, utilize that for as long as you can, but then move on. And I think that's where I've had to be able to love and honor the joys and the lessons that I've learned. But when the time is up, I know I've stayed too long with a couple of coaches over my last 20 years in this industry. I have wanted to pull out of that coach something that I needed that they were not capable of giving me. And then I got a little saucy there for a little bit. And sometimes those relationships didn't stay as good as if I would have left when I was ready to leave. So take that into consideration. Know that everything is a phase in life. And I highly recommend a coach in your life because nobody's perfect. Nobody has everything figured out, and there's always room to grow. My name is Teresa Kitchens. Thanks so much for sticking with me today, for talking about, do you need a coach in your life? And if you have any questions, reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find me on Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere where your local podcasts do stream. Come find me. We actually have a Power Women in Insurance Facebook group on Facebook. Join the Facebook group. Make sure that you talk to us about all the things you're working on, because that's what we're here to help you with. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.